Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome once again, back on schedule. No more rain. That's right, I am here. Welcome back once again to our daily Limbus Company ID study, mirror dungeon, and book reading. Today's subject matter is the newest ID that got released. Well, one of the newest. I still haven't got my hands on the other one, but we're going to be looking at S-Corp Chinokun Honglu today. Today is going to be a solo run in the mirror dungeon, so we're going to take a good long look at this ID here. I do not know if we're going to be using rules of the dungeon today, because I don't know if this ID is very good solo material. I haven't taken a good look at it yet, but we don't have an evade, we only have a clashable counter, which is nice. It prevents us from, dying from bleed, but I don't know if we're going to do the rules of the dungeon. In any case, let's get down with it. But before that, we got to address the rodeo-shaped elephant in the room. That's right, they finally teased Valentina Rodion and Lucio Heathcliff. Finally, we're gonna get a full house of spiders, and yum yum yum, I am going to do a House of the Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu solo run with a full belly once we get them all. Now, without any further ado, let's get down to business with the S-Corp Chinokun. As we have seen from the latest intervalo, a Chinokun is essentially a slave chaser from S-Corp. They work as fixers for S-Corp. They are independent fixers, but their whole gimmick is to catch people that have decided to run away from S-Corp. Now, let's begin here. S-Corp Chinokun Honglu possesses 258 HP, not bad, 4 to 6 speed, a 62 defense level, with a resistance to slash but a fatal against pierce, which makes them very vulnerable to certain enemies like Inquisitors and Pequot Town, but everybody is vulnerable to Pequot Town, so it doesn't make him that special. He possesses the sin of Gluttony, Lust, and Pride. With Gluttony, Lust, and Pride, let's check what egos we can use before we even start taking a closer look at the ID itself. So we have, again, Gluttony, Lust, and Pride. With the Pride counter, why is the Pride counter brighter than the Pride skill itself on the details here? That doesn't matter. So with Gluttony, Pride, and Lust, we can fuel not to become oneself, Lust, Gluttony, and Pride. We can fuel Lasso, which is interesting. It's a tab. Cavernous Wailing requires Sloth, that we don't have. Gloom and Pride. Soder requires Gluttony, Gloom, and EV, which we don't have. Dimension Shredder requires Gluttony and Pride, and this one's going to be very important for us. Again, this is a solo run, and survivability is key. Thankfully, Dimension Shredder is an excellent ego for survivability because of its passive. Let's take a look. On a hit against an enemy that has negative status effects, we gain 1 charge count 4 times per turn. When HP falls to 0, we consume all charge count and heal HP based on stacks consumed once per encounter to a maximum of 25% HP. That means we can prevent death once and heal up to 25% of our max HP, assuming we have enough charge. I don't know how much charge consume and how much HP is healed based on the stacks. It doesn't say here, but let's assume we're gonna need a lot. And finally, we have Tears of the Tarnished Blood, which we do not have the resources to use, so we're not even going to equip it because it's not that good. It only triggers on death unless we overclock it, and the passive isn't that good either. We do gain inflict attack power down on enemies, which is very nice. Actually, we can, but we just gotta remember to overclock it if we want to use it. And it's going to kill us if we use it normally. And being a solo run, this is going to be a little difficult. Anyway, moving on, I kind of skipped over here the whole straight for the Eagles instead of seeing the skills and the passive. So let's get down to the passives, which is the goal here, starting off our stream. The passive for S-Corp Chinokun is Chinokun. It's a normal pass, it has no requirements. If the target has Trust Honglu, we gain 1 prisoner transport arrangement. When chaining skills, if there is an enemy this unit has inflicted Trust Honglu on, then this unit can redirect that enemy's attack skills targeting to itself regardless of speed. Focused encounters only. Like, pay good attention to that clause over there. Focused encounters only. It's same as aggro. This is very nice because it means that you can essentially force anyone to target you. It would be nice if we're not doing a solo, so we're already the only target. So it really does not matter if the enemy has Trust Honglu or not. Now, Trust Honglu is a debuff we inflict on our enemies, I assume, with our skills. It decreases the enemy speed to -2. It makes the enemy take 10% more pride damage. It expires when the inflictor retreats, is killed, or inflicts it on a different target. So it kind of works similar to the dual marks for the Sync Association. Replacement Trust by another unit. Turn end, lose 1 stack if the inflictor did not hit this enemy this turn. So it has a three turn counter before it disappears, but if you're going to be switching targets all the time, it's going to be, we're going to be trusting different enemies. Now, we have this prisoner transport arrangement. If we are targeting someone that has Trust Honglu, we gain this buff. In a clash against enemies that have Trust Honglu, Honglu gains additional clash power +1. On hit against enemies that have the Trust, we inflict an additional bleed and gain 1 poise, 2 skills per turn, and if there are no trust targets, it expires. All right. Our active passive is Scouring Hunterband, a 3 Pride Resonance skill. If this unit speed is faster than the target, we deal the difference in speed times 2% damage to a maximum of 10. And if the target does happen to be Trust, we double the above damage increase by up to 20%, which is very nice. Combat start, we deal 5% extra damage for every ally that has a Slash Pride skill equipped this turn, max of 50%. Again, this is spiritually a Blade Lineage ID, even though it is not a Blade Lineage ID at all, but having the Slash Pride skill is very nice. Unfortunately, solo run, we're not going to benefit from this extra 30% damage, but it's nice to know. We're going to be gaining already a 10% or maybe 20% damage against enemies because we inflict bind on them, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, just the trust already decreases the enemy speed, so we're going to be gaining a lot of speed here. Well, the enemy is going to be slow. It's not that we're going to gain haste, it's not that the enemy is going to be slow. Let's check out the skills now. Skill 1. Constricting Aura Bonds. It is a true base power, 3 coin power, 3 coins, / gluttony, 62 offense, and attack weight of 1. With this much coins, we have in our hands a 11 roller. As expected, in general, 11 rollers are very, as I've discussed many times in the future in previous ID studies, with the newest IDs coming out, the baseline for the skill 1 is 11, and the baseline for the skill 2 usually is 16. And skill 3 tends to vary a lot in power because they have the most modifiers to it. It has 2 levels of escalation with coin power, which is exceptionally powerful for 3 coins. It is based on poise on self and bleed on target. 6 poise on self or 6 bleed on target, or 3 or a mix, doesn't matter. So this attack goes from 11 to 14. 14, and then to a 17. Because it's 3 coins and coin power gives a +1 on every coin, assuming we hit all heads. After all, it's down to a little bit of luck, especially when starting off a fight, but this is the mirror dungeon, we are always at 45 SP unless we use an ego. So this ID has excellent escalation due to, well, the first skill at least. Excellent escalation due to the high amount of coins and a baseline of 11, assuming all row heads. So it goes 11, 14, and then a 17. If the target has Trust, we gain a final power of +1. So again, it goes 12 to 15 and then to 18 if this extra final power, but it's a conditional that we have to attack the marked target. It's 3 hits, so we gain lots of poise. We inflict 2 bleed count, which is very nice. We inflict 2 bleed potency. We inflict 1 bind next turn, and if the target is Trust, we renew the Trust by 1 turn. Moving on to the skill 2, Avulsion Slash. It is a 4 base power, 6 coin power, 2 coins, / lust with a 63 offense level, which is, again, if you're fighting someone on a 60 offense level or level 60, that gives an additional clash power. This is deviating from the usual formula. Characters that usually deal high damage usually have lower defense levels. It's just that we're getting really stronger enemies, really. So stronger enemies, stronger allies, stronger IDs. But usually it used to be the formula that a attack has a high offense level, the defense level of the ID tends to be on the lower side, which is obviously not the case here. This ID possesses 4 base power, 6 coin power, that's 12, that is a 16, so baseline 16, very nice. It possesses 2 levels of escalation with 2 coins, so it goes 16, 18, and then 20. It has another final power if the target is trust, so 17, 17, and then a... No, wait, it's just a +1, it's final power, it's not... it's base power essentially, so apologies, mistake here. So 11 becomes 12, and then 12, 15, 15, 18, and then here it starts 16 plus final power, so 17, 19, and then 21. There we go. A potion slash can go up to 21 with our true levels of escalation based on poison self and bleed on the target. We gain poise count, we gain more poise, we inflict bleed. If the target has 2+ trust, we consume 1 trust to reuse the coin. That is great. On crit, inflict 1 evasion wound, which is a debuff that makes the enemy gain bleed on turn start, and at turn end they gain bind and it loses a stack of this. And it stacks up to 3 times. On a reuse, we gain 2 haste, and on activate the bleed on target, target loses 1 bleed count. Very good with it. Coin reuse is always good, because it's not like a situation where he has low clash power. This is a pretty damn good clash ability. Hello there, Joel.jc. I don't recall your name. I do believe this is your first time, but if I am mistaken, please correct me. In either case, I welcome you to the stream. Hello, how you doing? So, coin reuse on hit is always being really good. It's not a matter of this unit having a low clash power. He has a baseline 16 with extra final power and 2 levels of escalation. So even without this coin reuse, it's already a pretty damn good skill. But if you're focusing on the same target because of trust, you get an extra use of the coin to deal pretty good damage. And not only that, you get the bleed and the haste. So, not bad at all. Well, let's move on then to the skill tree, the big boy attack. Big skill tree, Hunter Scouring, has a 4 base power, 3 coin power, 4 coins / pride. With 4 coins of 3, we have in our hands a nice 11 plus 4, that is a 15 roller. No, sorry, that is a 12 plus 4. Nothing in particular, only see how you explain. Well, I hope I'm being concise enough. This is my first time messing with this skill, with this ID, so I don't know much about it. I'm just seeing how it works. So with 4 coins here, we got in our hands a 12 plus 4, that's a 16 roller. Has 2 levels of escalation, so it goes 16, 20, 24. If the target has the unique evasion wound that we can apply with our skill 2, we deal more damage. If the target is trussed, we gain final power +1, and we also convert everything to unbreakable. And the final hit is going to apply bleed count and attack power down. That's very nice. So again, we have a 12, 16, and then we escalate it twice, so it becomes 24, 20, 24, and then it gains the final power if the target is trussed. It can roll up to 25 with a 64 offense level. That is not bad at all. On the first hit, we get a little bind on the enemy. If the target is trussed, he becomes trussed. On use, we gain lots of poise here. I think that's a 25% chance of critical and 3 criticals. It inflicts bleed count on the second hit, lots of bleed on the third, and the final hit deals 50% more damage than a critical, inflicts 3 potency, it inflicts 2 evasion wounds, assuming you crit, and pride fragility. Very nice, not bad at all. It's a 25 roller, plenty of extra damage, more damage on the final hit, gains lots of poise, trussle the target, not bad at all. This ID really benefits from targeting the same guy over and over until he is dead, which is a problem because we are going to be running a solo with him, so we'll see how that will go. His defense skill is a clashable counter, which is very nice to prevent the enemy from gaining the advantage on us on certain unfocused encounters. Still, if we're going to unfocus encounter, we are already at a disadvantage because of how it works, and we do not have a dodge, but it's still very nice. It has a 5 base power with an 8 coin power, single coin / pride. That is a nice 13 roller, which is already rolling higher than the base skill 1 here. So it's a proper, how you call this, a proper substitute. If you have nothing going on, you don't have any poise, you don't have nothing, you can use the skill 1, your defense skill instead of your skill 1. It gains clash power instead of escalation, so once you get some poise on yourself or bleed on the target, you don't need to use it unless it's better for you to use the clashable counter. We gain 25% critical chance. On a clash, we invade 3 criticals, which is poise count. And on hit, we inflict a trussle and inflict a single pip of bleed. Very nice. Very nice indeed. As a reminder, clashable counters allow you to attack an enemy without triggering bleed on self, because defense skills does not trigger bleed. This is the trick for some IDs that are fighting solo, like, say, Hanafuda Ishmael, because she can be drowning in bleed, but if she just uses clashable counters, she will still manage to damage the enemy without activating bleed. And this will be pretty much the same here if we start getting too much bleed on this character. Now, with a 62 defense level, that is not a bad idea at all. This is a pretty strong ID, especially as a free reward. This is a really good ID. We already seen what eagles we're going to be equipping on him, because he can fuel 2 of these eagles. He can fuel lasso, which doesn't really synergize that much with him. I mean, you can get if enemy or an ally is killed due to rupture or bleed, inflict true lasso against a random enemy, which is just rupture, potency, and bind. It does have the synergy here for applying bind on the enemies and haste on us if we kill someone by bleed. So there is some synergy here. Not the best, but it's here. We gain true haste, of course, when we inflict lasso on the enemies and bleed. So that has some synergy here. But the most important thing for today is Dimension Shredder. He can fuel Dimension Shredder as he has Gluttony and Pride on his kit. Dimensional Shredder here is not about inflicting Rupture with Dimensional Rift. It's more about gaining the haste, inflicting the fragile, but most importantly, the passive that allows us to ignore death at least once. Honglu has a lot of I don't die skills, honestly. Right, that concludes our review of the S-Corp Chudokan. He is a very strong duelist of sorts. You mark a target with your trussle, and you keep hitting that guy, and you're going to be doing fat stacks of damage, and just generally making the enemy life miserable. He works very, very similarly to how you would play the Sync Association, the duelists, not Dawn. No, Dawn also has a focus strike, so essentially just look at his aura bonds, or the trust here, as a mark. Attack the marked target to gain fat buffs and deal fat stacks of damage. That's essentially how this ID works. There isn't a very big passive here. There isn't a very big gimmick here. It's just you mark a target, you focus on that target. Very simple. Now, with Honglu revealed as a Bleed Poise ID, we are now going to build a team to support him in his endeavor in the Mirror Dungeon solo. Let's keep in mind that he has the sins of lust, gluttony, and pride. And he is a /bleed poise ID. Let's begin with Yisang, as usual, scenario number 1. How can he help a bleed poise ID? The answer is rather obvious, the Pequod First Mate. Pequod First Mate provides us the following. On crit, one ally that has the highest poise inflicts 2 more bleed potency using its skills 6 times per turn. So it's an extra true bleed, it's nice, it's good. Alternatively, you could take Blade Lineage Saotsu, which is ironic, which allows him to gain more criticals from skill effects, but he's already generating his own skills, being a solo fighter, so he's going to be using his skills a lot, so he's going to get the poise. He's getting the poise. He's getting the poise. Or Faust. Let's see. We are bleed and poise. We do have the Blade Lineage Saotsu, again, very ironic to use them. When the ally with the earliest deployment order hits critically using a slash skill, we inflict 1 defense level down, max 3 times per enemy per turn. This is actually pretty damn good, especially considering how we attack the marked target with deal more damage. Then applying additional defense level down is very nice. Another option that we can't trigger on our own, we would have need of a ego gift able to generate ego resources for us, would be repression work for lobotomy ego regret, because we are able to apply 3 different types of negative effects on the target. That means it's a negative clash power against that one target that we are hyper focusing. We do have the sin of gluttony on our skill 1, I believe, so we could technically apply this as well. No, we don't actually apply rupture rear bleed, so we can't activate that. Ooh, what else do we have here? Nope, I think that's pretty good. Blazing Ninja also pretty much just gives us defense level down, which is excellent. Let's just keep that one in there and move on to Dawn. If our character was able to inflict sinking or rupture, I would immediately jump on putting Dawn as a backup to apply even more defense level down. But unfortunately, that is not the case. We could use this if we got gifts along the dungeon to inflict rupture count or sinking count on the enemy, which would allow us to, you know, apply the defense level down regardless, but I'd rather not rely on the RNG of ego gifts. And so we're going to look at something else that we can give Honglu to support him. Blade Ninja Taosu allows us to gain more poise on our attacks. Poise is very nice, especially for this ID. It is one of the requirements to escalate his attack and make him do big damage. So Blade Ninja Taosu is our first option here. This one here is possible to activate, but it is a Tree Pride Resonance, and unfortunately our Resonance is on skill 3. And so we don't really have that much reliability on the Resonance, so let's not use this one and look for some other options. The 10% extra damage would be nice, but it is a Wrath owned. We don't generate Wrath in any way, shape, or form, so we would rely on Ego Gifts again. So I think I'm gonna stick with the Blade Ninja Salsu. There's 2 Blade Ninjas already helping him, which seems to be a recurring theme here. So let's move on to Ryoshu. Ryoshu, we could keep base Ryoshu. Base Ryoshu is a 20% extra damage, give or take, by doing a Gluttony Resonance, and we do have Gluttony. Gluttony does so happen to be our skill 1. So by turn 2 or 3, we would already have 3 slots to do the Resonance, which is, again, very nice. Another option that we could take is Drifting Blade of Hongduan, which gives us some shield for Poison Self, which would increase our survivability, and considering this is a solo run, I'd rather have a little bit of survivability. As a reminder, we're not going to do an extreme solo run. In the long run, of course, the extra damage would have been better, but this is a 5-floor run with a few very interesting rules that I'm going to flash on the screen right now. So we have to follow these rules. And so we are looking for survivability first, rather than pure damage. So we're going to be taking Drifting Blade of Hongyuan Ryoshu to support him. As a backup unit for... Hold on a second, where's my notes? Here we go. As a backup unit for Honglu, we're going to be taking the Ring Fob Student, because it allows us to apply defense level down for every 2 type of negative effects on target. Again, we have Lust, we have Pride, we can activate this, it is very nice. Defense level down is always nice because that just means more damage. Moving on to Heathcliff. How can Heathcliff help a Bleed Pride / Poise guy? We do have the Shi Association, but it requires a Resonance of Wrath, so we can't use that. Kurokumo Clan Wakatu gives us a nice little damage bonus on a 5 owned Lust, which is against defense skills or allies with enemies with max HP. Right now, that is the best option I can think of. This is a Berserk mechanic for Pierce, this is for Tremor, this is for Charred, this is for Gloom, this is more clash power at low health, this is, I think, Pure Envy because it's fucking middle. Yeah, it's for the middle, so not really gonna work. This is for Chard, this is the joke, this is for Rupture, so Heathcliff, Kurokumo Heathcliff, it is. As for Ishmael, let's see. One option is always Jong's office representative, but we don't generate gloom, nor do we generate sloth, so we really don't get any use out of that. The Kurokumo clan captain gives us additional bleed potency or counter skill effects as long as we use a tree resonance of lust. Lust is our skill 2, so that's pretty common to happen. She association is just more counter power. This is a poise ID that could help us. Let me take a look. Allowed has speaking true poise count when the target is defeated after a unit's attack. That is essentially every time we get a kill, we gain 2 criticals and some critical chance. I'd rather take the Lust Resonance for the bleed application. So that is it. For Rodion, honestly, Rodion doesn't have much to help us. We do have the Ring Favis, which is weird because apply the following effects to the entity with the earliest deployment order. If Lust Resonance is an odd number, inflict 1 more bleed. If Lust Resonance is an even number, inflict Sinking Potency. So then the ring gains offense and defense level up at combat start. It can only benefit us from bleed potency, and it's again it's an even or odd number, so it's a little unstable, so I'm not going to use that. Another option we have would be Kurokumo Clan Wakashu. That gives us more slash damage, but it is unfortunately a gloom owned. We don't generate gloom. I would leave base Rhodia because base Rhodia has a very strong damage buff of 20% as long as we can generate 5 Wrath. We can't generate 5 Wrath, but we can find the Ego Gift around. Another option would be the Zwei Association Section 5. Again, requires Wrath of a Resonance. It would give us as additional shield based on poise count, but as we do not have Wrath for a Resonance, we cannot activate that one. I don't think we have many other options here. That is Rupture, this is Sinking or Charred, if I recall correctly. This is Charred and Sinking, correct. This is for low negative sanity. This is for Rupture, I believe. Allow the passive speed inflict Rupture damage to an enemy, inflict defense level down next turn, so no. This is for Tremor, this is for Shield Discard, Burn, Tremor, Rupture, Nails, and yeah, we're sticking with base Rodion. As for Sinclair for support, how about the House of Spider's Pinky Apprentice? Let's take a look. Allow the fast speed, heal 5 SP against 5 shield when starting combat with a defense skill equipped. We can activate this pretty easily, and that is going to be very good. So we're gonna take that. Usually we take the Maracas Boy for the extra damage, but today we're gonna take the House of Spider's Pinky Apprentice. Blade Lineage Saosu would give us a extra final power on the last skill, but it only affects 1 skill, so I don't want it. I'd rather have the survivability of a shield. Otis, Blade Lineage Otis, is very good because it is a kill confirmation attack, 30% against enemies with low HP. We also always have the S-Corp Head Manager for that excellent attack power, defense power, protection, but it requires a Sloth owned, and we don't generate Sloth. Again, we could find it along the dungeon. Pretty much guaranteed that we're going to find it in the dungeon, so we could choose between having a lot of damage or random buffs. The protection would be nice. The defense up would be nice for our counters. I would take the random buffs, honestly. And Gregor, you already know what it is. We do generate the Gluttony to activate this, so we are going to take this as our source of healing. Let me eat my apple. All right. All right. We are team selected for support. Let's deploy into the dungeon. All right. Once again, we are following the rules of the dungeon, so let me reiterate them real quick. We are not using Grace of the Stars in any way, shape, or form. We're not using Starlight in any way, shape, or form. We're not getting any starting eagles. We're not doing gift searching. We are not healing on shops. We are not reviving on shops. Since this is a solo run, I can retry combat up to 3 times. but if we fail the third time, we lose the dungeon and we have to start over. Depending on how time has elapsed, we might not finish the dungeon in one go, or, you know, if I fail and I try again, and too much time has gone, I will accept defeat and say that I failed. This is completely arbitrary and completely subjective to me. I could run this as I ran solo runs before with ego gifts and such, but I want to try this unit raw with just the support for IDs and nothing else on the dungeon. And he has to stand up on his own against solo enemies, which is again not the game what the game has been designed around, although some people we can do that, and some IDs excel at that because they were designed with that in particular, say Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu, but I don't think this is a unit that has been designed from the ground up to be a solo fighter. But we're gonna try regardless. We're gonna refuse the gift, as I said. We don't get to reroll packs either, so we have to use whatever the gods have decided, the gods of RNG. So let's take a look. Right off the bat, we have Lithograph, which is healing. Homeward, it is healing. We don't use Sinking. We do have a Poise gift here, but I don't care for it because it's not Neon Loving. We're gonna go to Be Cleaved because we have the damage bonus here, and we can get Rebate Token, Scarlet Moths, or this. Unfortunately, we can't get the Deceptive Accord because it only affects the 5th deployed unit. So to Be Cleaved it is. Let's see. We got lucky. This is very good. This is excellent, actually. It's a type of gift that I call the win harder gift, because as you kill an enemy, you gain more power, and if you're killing enemies, you're already winning, so you win harder for several turns. Now let's see if this unit can hand up the first round of fighting here. We have nothing equipped so far. We can start with a clashable counter, and again, we don't have anything, so this is going to be pretty well. Clashable counters will always prioritize the first enemy that attack us, but we unfortunately are going to be taking a lot of attacks from these guys, and I think they're all no, they're a mixed bag. We're likely to get staggered, honestly. We got some shield from Sinclair, which is very nice. We're gonna be whooping people this entire dungeon, mind you. We wish. Right, so far so good. We should probably start getting some green so we can activate this, but right now we are in a bit of a pickle, but we only need 2 levels of pride to generate a little bit of shield. It's good so far. It's still a matter of he's rapidly approaching stagger bar. All right. Hello, Moises. How are you today? Let's see. We need more green. We need more green. We need more green. We need more green. Is this guy about to get staggered? No, there's plenty of hints to go yet. So let's just stick with our pride resonance to gain a little bit of shield. Very nice. Hong Louis chopping them down. Right, we're almost at our peak green power here. Let's Alright, we can use green now. There we go. We survived, and now we just need to gain enough green to activate our healing, and we're gonna have some little bit of healing. Oh, how the tides of war have changed. I don't think we gathered enough green to survive the next attack, though. Although we can activate an Eagle right away, because I think we already had enough to deal an Eagle Blast. But this is troublesome. This is troublesome. I meant to drag on that combat a little bit more, so that we could at least regain some health with Gregor's passive. But we didn't do it. Right now, we do have the thing we need. But these guys are back at full health, and we could start with Lasso just to activate it, but that's going to consume all the resources we had accumulated, specifically for healing. And since it's so blunt, it's not going to stagger any of them, but we are still at a danger of getting staggered because we're low on health. We could use Era to save our asses here, or we could use this here so we can gain charge, and if we do die, we recover our health. It is a slash AoE, and these guys are weak to slash, so there's a good possibility of staggering a few of them. Let's go with the Eagle. Could have overclocked that for an additional AoE, I think. That wasn't a stagger, but it was close enough. But now we are going to get staggered. At least we have one level of death protection, which is the Eagle we just used. Let's see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to use Era to survive this, which I don't want to, but it's a possibility, you know? We wish. Back down. Sneaky bash. Swipe. We wish. We stop at 39. Okay. We don't have our greens yet. That's bad. But we're not bleeding, which is nice. We have a way to survive. If we do die, we recover health. And if you hit enemies with negative effect, we gain charge back. So let's work with that. Gaining charge, very nice. That passive for Sinclair is helping us a lot here. It might not seem like much, but 5... is this enough to cover all of them? No. How much we need? We need 3. But unfortunately, we need at least 2 clashable counters to be able to gain shield. So let's go with the clashable counters, gain our greens, and try to drag on this combat. We need to gain some HP back. Whip him! Whip him! Very good. We still need 1 more green. So... let's try only clashables. That clashable counter is rolling at 20. That is insane, man. Right, we have enough to activate it, so let's keep countering for now. We need our health back. This is what I'm doing. I'm literally dragging on the combat so we can heal. Alright. Is there any way you can get more health from this guy? Because our ego does not heal us. We have heal SP, Random video which is speed, rupture, pin down. So how's Chunokun Honglu doing? He is a very strong ID, make no mistake. Alright, give me my health back, little man. Ooh. He's a very strong ID. We are trying to make... Oh! You all need to tell me when I have something on screen because I can't be checking OBS all the moment. I didn't realize that the rules of the dungeon were up all this time. I apologize. That was my bad, but you need to remind me of that sometimes, you know, because sometimes I'm not paying attention, and that entire combat went by without you guys seeing what I was doing, so my apologies. Okay, so Chunokun Honglu, very powerful, very good. We got some healing now. That's everything we wanted out of this. We got some healing. We got UPS system, which is going to do wonders to our ego passive from Dimension Shredder. We are shaping up for a good run here, assuming we can survive this next fight. Of course, we're gonna start with the Dimension Shredder because we need that ability. Oh, we have a stagger threshold. How low is that stagger threshold? 51. We're gonna start with the Eagle, even though it consumes our green resources, which we kind of need because we need to survive these attacks. What is the strongest here? The reason why we're using this Eagle again is because of its passive that allows us to cheat death at least once, which is going to be very necessary considering this is a boss fight. I get to retry it 3 times, and I get to use Dante powers as necessary, so let's see how that goes. Now we get a bunch of one-sided because we don't have evades. This is a unit without evade, so we are always at a disadvantage starting out any boss fight because we do not have the choice to evade the attacks, not take the attacks. We only get to get hit, and we get hit constantly. Go. We now have a bit of shield starting out because of the passive from Sinclair from How the Spiders. So far so good. Once we get Pride Resonance going, we are going to be doing great, which is exactly what we got right now. Oh, that is a pierce damage. We are weak to pierce. We don't want to get hit by pierce damage. So let's go with this. Now we're getting some healing. Nice. Very good. Get a few hits in because it has more attacks than us. We need to generate our green once again because we're out of green, and we need that to be big green. We need 3 greens. We're gonna trade 3 greens here. Nice. With 3 greens, we get back the regular passive, and we have enough to use Dimension Shredder as necessary. Ideally, we want to drag on the combat a little bit longer so that we have an access of resources, but otherwise, we're doing pretty well. Speaking of, I saw someone on YouTube saying that you could defeat Leihang with a level 1 Chunokun, and I don't think that proves anything as long as he is like up type 4. Because the fight against Leihang uses Morositas, the fight against Leihang story uses Morositas, it doesn't matter which level your unit is, they are going to have the same power level. It's just a matter of can you survive the first round. As long as the unit is up type 4, you can fight Leihang. Doing pretty well. Look at that bleed. Holy shit, that is some bleed application right here. That is some real good bleed. And we don't have any bleed gifts as far as I'm aware. Yeah, no bleed gifts, just a charge. Goddamn! Goddamn! Let's beat this guy down. And make sure you use plenty of green. We already have plenty of blue because we have our clashable counter for that. What we need now is the other resources. Very good. Clean sweep, I'd say. We didn't even have to use the passive from Dimension Treader in the first floor. That is really good. Gain some cost. And move on to, let's take a lithograph for that little bit of healing. And clips for some AoE. Also, if Dark Teaser that finally confirmed Teambuilding coming. Yes, I mentioned that at the beginning of the stream. So, yeah, they're finally here. They're finally coming. They are finally real. Ooh, healing on hit. Or I'm gonna go for healing on hit. We got 3 healing gifts right now. I am feeling pretty confident. And look at that. We got Needle and Tread here in Hell's Chicken. Let's go over there. Very nice. Chunokun here is very lucky boy. Very lucky boy indeed. Let's see what we got here. 3 gifts! 3 tier 3 gifts on this economy? Goddamn! Goddamn, Papa Bongi, you're spoiling me. You're spoiling me so nice. Papa Bongi always had our back. Just to see, we're gonna reach the finale of Limbus Company. Papa Bongi is gonna come back to help us. Let's see, we got some blunt damage. We are normal to blunt damage. Let's rip one of them apart. I don't want to take damage, so I'm going to gain a little bit of shield. A little bit of shield and a little bit of healing too from Gregor's passive. Very good passive, by the way, to support this character. He has a very nice combination of sins. Round them up by the ropeful. Come on. Let's top them up. Whip it! He's doing so well, man. Let's see if he keeps up until floor 5, because I'm gonna be surprised if he keeps this up. Again, this unit has no evade, and even if you go in a focus encounter, we can't avoid taking damage, but right now he has a very good combination of not only a good clashable counter, but a combination of passive helping him, and some really good Eagle Gift starting off. All the healing ones, I think, almost all of them. So we can recover our health pretty damn well. We have a little bit of shield for the passive Sinclair, which is, again, very nice. We have some shield as well from the passive of, what's her face? Drifting Blade of Hong Yuan, that's why I chose it. Go over here, at least we can redirect. Granted, the passive this here gives us, let's see, as more gain 1 shield for every 10 poise on self, maximum of 10, and this one gives us more shield if we have combat skill, defense skill equipped. And it heals 5 SP on top of that, which is very nice. Very nice combination here. Poise has some decent, very decent support here. I'm gonna tell you what. Let's see. Well, we're slower than all of them, but we are the main target, so we can target whoever we want. Let's go for the first one targeting us. I assume that is the one. Fuck. There goes our sanity. You know what? The chickens decided that I get to attack one turn, and these does nothing, so I'm gonna top it up. The chickens are now staggered. Very nice. Let's get some regal resources from them. What's the worst support passive Limbus company currently has? Genuine question. Sloshing Ishmael. Sloshing Ishmael is fucking horrible. It is just dog shit. Defense level down or gluttony skill? I'll take that. It's going to synergize very well with some of the passives we equipped as well. A little bit of burn for or birdie boy. Go there, get burned. Again, it's going to synergize incredibly well with our other things. White gold CPU, angled bones, Ruby Iron Stake. When using a single coin, skill inflict when bleeding potency to true defense level down. True bleeding potency already. We do not have single coins, except no, we have the counter. So this will support our counter. Very nice. Let's enhance the assistant with maximum potency together with this. And I don't see why not. A little bit of burn, a little bit of burn. A little bit of burn, a little bit of burn. We don't have to focus on healing items anymore because we got lithograph, we got prejudice, and we got phlebotomy. The Trunoken fights on. Right, since we're fighting a big boss here, we might want to start off with Dimension Predator. So just to be on the safe side, so that we can gain some death cheating ability. Death cheating ability activated. We now have the Charge. If we get staggered and die, it's not a problem. We can get stronger. Let's chop up Papa Bongi. I mean, his attack still hurt like a motherfucker. And stagger. Said stagger. There we go. Let's get down to a beatdown, brother. There you go. Funny. Very nice. Still not dead, though. Still not dead. We're good. We're doing well. You know why we're doing well? Because if we do die, we get to revive. And that is very nice. Feels like a fight, doesn't it? This feels pretty good. Enemy stagger, we get some health back. Clash Wing, we get some health back. First strike, we get some health back. Slaughter Ishmael's combat has potential, I think. Combat maybe, but you had to use Sloshing Ishmael. That's the point. That's the problem, isn't it? Alright, I don't want to lose this piece, so let's break his body. We need more greens, so we're gonna use a lot more greens here. Chop it up! Get that meat cleaver deep into that chicken breast! And now, it's time for the chicken obliteration. Very nice. Floor 2 completed with flying colors. Again, Honglu has a lot of supports, even for IDs, especially for his eagles that prevent death. I'm talking about specifically about the Dimension Treader, which is just very good. And this is just deleting the enemy sanity. We're not a sinking unit that we can now deal sanity on our enemies. Let's see here. Falling Flowers is a possible death sentence if we get Spice Bush. And since we do not have a proper team formed, it's solo run, we really don't need Kaleidoscope. Repressed Wrath does have First Aid, which would help us a lot, and Late Bloomerstone too, but it would also help us a lot. But Vain Pride has the Wrist Guards and a Revive gift, and we get to fight against Kim. Fighting against Kim would be a problem because he applies a lot of bleed, and we cannot evade him. But we are resistant to Slash, and we can self-revive, and we do have clashable counters, which would allow us to, you know, clash without triggering bleed. Let's hope he doesn't come down to fighting Kin, because if we do fight Kin, that is going to be a problem. Let's try our best. Let's try our luck. Not even our best, let's try our luck here. It's all about luck, baby. It's all about luck. And isn't this a problem? There is a Pierce skill here. Flash skill, don't care. Blunt, could be worse. But the Pierce skill, no, we can't let that happen. No. Beaky Smash! Again, he just applies so much bleed, it's really nice. Little burn. Let's see those Pierce skills. We cannot let them become a reality. Let's go for you and you. Give me my health back, please and thank you. Very nice. Again, we got really lucky with the healing gift at the start of this run, so I'm predicting a successful run. All right. We can start doing some clashable counters here for that extra protection. Slap it. Again, since we're doing a lot of Pride Resonance here, we get ourselves a nice pet damage bonus at the end of the Resonance chain, which is, again, a damage bonus is always very nice, you know. We don't actually need a clashable counter here, so let's just go with a normal attack. Alright, gotta eat your greens, right? Gotta eat your greens. Gotta eat your greens. And since we have a lot of poise right now, that skill 1 is hitting like a truck. It's very easy to gain a lot of power with this ID because of the skill, of the escalation being based on poise. Because when the escalation of a skill is based on the effects on the target, say the target has a lot of bleed, target has a lot of burn, the target has a lot of whatever. If the target has nothing, you don't get any escalation. So when you need that extra power to actually win a clash and the target has nothing on them, you don't actually get to win the clashes. This example is painfully apparent on what's his face? Kofi Heathcliff. Kofi Heathcliff only gains the escalation for his attacks on Tremor on target. So if you're targeting a Tremor target that is fresh, no ailments, he has no power against that target, which puts him at a disadvantage, but not for any unit that has their escalation based on poison self, because poison self you're always going to have unless you consume all of it. So he gains real good power and he stays powerful the entire fight. And look at that, we got Bloody Gadget. That is 2 damage up, baby. Ooh, we got a free ride here as well. We get extra poise. Oh my, things are... Honglu is a lucky boy, isn't he? And I retract what I said. Honglu, you suck. Never mind. That would have been a very good gift to have, but unfortunately Nebulizer didn't decide to happen today. Let's take the stars. Little marbles. We get to throw them at people. We get to throw rocks at passers-by, as it is a time-honored tradition at S-Corp. Just throw rock at people. And here we go. All slash, all pride. We are normal against pride, but resist against slash, so not a problem. Let's begin. The problem is going to be that fragile they apply. How are we doing? How are we doing? We are doing pretty damn well. We are doing pretty damn well. Let's get a clashable counter out the door. It is likely to lose some clashes, yes. But the point here is the fact that we're gonna gain shield by activating that resonance, which is our point here. Shield reduces damage, and we are happy with some damage that does not hit our, our health bar. Again, I still believe in the idea that if you have shields from block, at least, you shouldn't gain negative status effects because you are blocking the attack, Collapsible guards already do that because you prevent the entire damage from happening. Why can't we have that on our, normal blocks? That would make blocks actually fucking powerful. While you're at it, make them a little bit more powerful too, so they can actually block some semblance of actual damage. And right now we have plenty of poise, so we are powered up. Slap. All right. We got the upper hand here. Time to finish this fight. Surrender to the aura bonds. This is still one of the best goddamn songs in the entire game. Hercules' theme is one of the best. The guitar, the percussion, hell yeah. There we go. Light the way, Honglu. Chop him up. Chopping up, boy. Round my bad rope fool. Very nice. And now we hope and see if you're gonna get Kim as a boss, which would be very poetic if we got Kim as a boss, but I don't think we're gonna. Let's get some random gift. We got Health Reply Ring. It's useless for us. It is not Kim. It is Hertley, so Let's see here. Overused whetstone would be nice, but it only affects the third deployed unit. Instead, we are going to upgrade this to gain more damage up. So we get a 40% damage up. We deal more damage against enemies with no SP. We really don't need those. We really don't need the burn gift or the chicken breast here or the helter fly. So we can try to get the tier 4 boys gift. We got bleed. We got bleed. I'll take the bleed. We use bleed. Oh, I know. I'll take that. I'll take that very much. I'll start. That means we are already starting. That tier 4 gift is gonna be very busted. We already start off with the enemy with lots of bleed. That means we get our escalation right away. That is crazy. That is crazy good. Unless it's potency, unless it's bleed potency. Let me just double check. Bleed on target, poison cell. I am assuming it's bleed potency, but we'll see. Let's see how much this skill is gonna roll. Yeah, it's giving me a neutral, so it's probably gonna roll normally because it has to be bleed potency rather than bleed count. Yeah, it has to be potency, but that's not a problem because with that much count on you, we don't have any problems here. Let's get ourselves a little shield here. You are now trusselled, buddy. Time to hit that 26. Ain't gonna be a problem. Let's tussle with the best. Here we go. That pierce attack cannot be allowed to go through. Tussling. Here comes the whip. Whip stagger. Whip stagger. Punishment. We can take that pride slash, no problem. We just can't allow the pierce attack to go through. Evotion slash. Evotion slash. This destroys the cyborg. Now whip it. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right. Where there's a whip, there's a way. God, now that song is gonna be stuck in my head. God damn it. What can you do? What can you do? Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Because, fuck, I forgot how the song goes now. We are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Left, right. There's a whip, there's a way. Lights it up. Chop into nice little bits of pieces. There we go. That's what we like to see. This is why I like curved swords. The swinging attacks feel much more pleasing to the eye for me. Instead of stabbing or those more human movements where you swing close to your body. I like the swooping flashes. Did I kill Hurtley? I think I killed Hurtley. Are you liking the Honglu ID? It is very powerful. It is extremely powerful. It doesn't have a fun gimmick or anything like that, but it is very, very powerful. It's just attack the same target and he's able to do some great stuff. But then again, we did get very lucky with gifts in this run. And again, we are following rules of the dungeon. All right, I'll take that and I'll take that. Oh yeah. You can get first aid later. We're getting some real damage up here. Right, let's see. Evil Defining would be suicide because of Pequot Town and, well, Evil Defining because we are weak to Pierce. We are very weak to Pierce. Devoured Gluttony. I guess we could go Devoured Gluttony. The 3 bosses aren't that difficult. Significant Envy isn't hard either. Yeah, it's a 50-50 here, doesn't matter. We don't have Gluttony, so let's go Gluttony. For a free ID, this is a solid ID, man. If you're getting this for free, you're gonna do well because it's a very strong character. Good debuffs, good self buffs, good damage ups, just good in general. Right, how many pierce attacks are we looking at here? Can we target them? Yes, we can. We can take some slashing, we can take some trouncing, but not piercing. No sir. Slash, slash. Chop it up. Nibble me. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right. Alright, pierce attacks. There is but one. We are going to use a clashable counter to prevent we getting some shield. What? Surrender to the Oribons. Alright, now we're doing here, there is but 2 pierce attacks, we can handle that. Handle it. Then we use a clashable counter to gain some shield and some, well, just some shield in general. 15 shield is not a lot, but in these low-level dungeons, low-level floors, it matters a lot. Enemy has died of bleed damage. Light it up. Minimal damage taken. We have 4 slots. We are good to clash now. Clash time, baby. Clash time. The tides of battle turn in the favor of Honglu, the Chinese Korea slave chaser. This song is fantastic. There's a little bit of the song where they go to the percussionist. Love that part of the song. It's going really damn well. Chop it up! And the enemies are all dead and we are in full health. Again, very lucky with the healing gifts. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, mystery packs 2 in a row. I like that. Search and find the thing so we can put it to the furnace. We don't use sinking, so this gift is useless to us. It is simply more fuel for the eagle furnace. Blunt damage, huh? Oh. What was the negative effect of this? We just became slower, or did we deal less damage? Or we lost splash power? I already have this one, so I don't really need it. But I don't remember what it does. Is it the one? I know it gives you 25% more damage if you get it, but I don't remember the negative of it. I think it was less clash power or less offense level, which would be bad. It would be really bad for us. So, long ease on the tile roofing casts an impenetrable umbra. Beneath it stands a figure, submerged in the shadow, leaning against the wall. They regard us in momentary silence before muttering in a low voice a question. Are you prepared to yield your flesh, if it meant claving into your enemy's bones? Take this blade if you carry such determination. Even at a glance, there's something about the sword in the figure's outstretched hand that gives off a disturbing air. Now, I need to remember if this is the... I know this is a cursed gift, I don't remember what exactly it does. I'm looking at the wiki here. I already got this gift before. I kind of know what it does. So I'm just trying to figure out the negative of it. What was the negative for it, actually? I think it was a tier 1 and then it becomes a tier 4, right? Where is it? 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 Where the fuck is it? Alright, Bellefuhundo. It is... For all allies, take 20% damage and lose a clash power. Ooh, 1 clash power. 1 clash power. And we need to win 6 encounters for a 25% damage boost. I'm good, I'm good. I'm not doing some challenge. I already got that one, and we already at floor 4. We literally would not have 6 encounters to power it up unless we went something higher than floor 5, which is not the objective today. So I'll pass. Thank you. No cursed sword for me today. Maybe next time, you know? K-Corp. K-Corp has a lot of blocks. Means we gotta use our offensive splash as best we can. Ow. Whip it! Ooh, they're doing good damage on me. Don't like that. No sir, no how. It's time to use Ego. We're gonna use Ego just to prevent our death, in case it does happen. Well, you never know, you never know. We do have some insane healing going on right now, but you never know, you never know. And I like to play on the safe side, even if you have to, even if you do get like 3 retries on a solo run, it's, I'd rather not have to use the retry at all. So let's play on the safe side, let's lose some sanity, and activate our passive to recover health on death. Stop the intruder! Intruder is getting away, lads! Feel pride resonance. Whip it, slash it, cut it, and kill it! Come here! We got that 100% damage bonus, boys! Oh my! This happened before. This happened with Hook Office Honglu, where he reached 100% damage bonus by just having the right gifts. This is insanely good, man. We have this much damage up because of the following. We have the wrist guards. It's not even fully upgraded, mind you, and I probably don't need it fully upgraded. We have a 40% damage up from Bloody Gadgets. So, fucking phenomenal, right? We have damage up Chew from UPS, so that's 6% damage up. And I think we're getting it from somewhere else. Let's see. Defense level up. Lead potency. Oh, it has there we go. True damage up instead. So 2 from here, 4 from here, so 6, 7, 8, and 7, 8, 9, and lust affinity 10. Holy shit! We got 100% damage up because of UPS, Devil Share, Rift Gauntlets, and Lusty Gadget. 4 gifts, 100% extra damage. This one gives more damage because of Pride skill. This one gives more damage because of Lust. This one gives more damage just because you have Charge, and it generates Charge. And this one gives you more damage because you have Lust. He has Lust and Pride. No wonder he's doing so much damage. Holy fucking shit. We are already on double damage. The enemy is not even staggered. No wonder he's turning people into nuggets. He's chopping, he's whacking and slashing and chopping and cutting. Wow, this is a very good idea. Even solo, I fucked up. I was supposed to use a clashable counter there, but I will recover a help. Let's pop one of these. Let's pop 2 of these. There we go. Let's round them up. Ooh, the damage up is crazy, brother. We don't even need to upgrade the wrist gauntlets at this point. I'm seeing it. I'm beholding it. That 100% damage up is no joke, brother. That is no joke. And we didn't start with these gifts, we just got them along the way. This is a blasted run, if there was ever a blasted run like this. Ooh, Rusty Commemorative Coin. We do not have any single coin except for a clashable counter, but clashable counters do not get to be reused, so sorry, can't use that. Night Vision Goggles will give us offense level based on extra charge that we have, so take that. Broken Revolver would give them Rupture by offense level down. Rupture, I think it's just very nice to have. Let's enhance gifts first. We literally do not have, if we enhance this, we don't gain anything extra, honestly. We just activate it sooner. Let's just update it once so it activates faster. We got Wound Clarity for that delicious bleed application. We got Copying Cranes for Ego Gift, for Ego Resources, sorry. Let's go with those 2. And we're good. It is, the only thing that would make this even better is if that we somehow got our hands into something to prevent stagger in the first place. But that is not a problem because we have the Ego to prevent death. So we are in the clear here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, brother? We're here to slash and hack. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what we got here, baby boy. I don't want to get hit by those the count applications attack, so how about we don't? How about we don't? You know what? How about we really don't? Just in case. Just in case. Ow. Good thing there's a blunt attack. Got a nice stagger there, huh? I guess we activated that passive for no reason, but you are now bound by the whippet. The aura bounds got you in a stranglehold, brother. Get ready for a word of punishment. Hello, Rave Troll. You are still under the affliction of the curse. I hope someday they found a cure for you. Welcome to the stream, regardless. How you doing? Jesus Christ, this ID's a monster, man. You decided to hide with your fairy, but that ain't gonna work. We're just gonna chop you up into tiny little pieces and bury you alive. Big attack, huh? What about my big attack? You know what? You have 568 HP. I have several slots worth of attacks. I'm just gonna kill you. You're slow, I'm faster. I'm just gonna kill you. The reuse, baby! Where he stabs and saws their head off and pulls it. That's beautiful. That's cruel. Alright, ego tier. Rebate token, as if we need it. Honestly, I don't know why we came here to this pack. I guess we're gonna have to take something. Alright. Final floor. You present me with a three-pronged road. A three-pronged road. All of them lead to hell. I might be screwed here. On one side, I have motherfucking Pequod Town, and they deal pierce damage. In the middle, I have Blood Fiends. And on the left, we have Monastic Experience, which a solo character will not be able to do it without an evade because of the amount of bleed that the big lady with the sword does. This is ass. I could technically refresh, but well, actually we could refresh. Refresh does not use Starlight, but that will contradict what I started saying at the beginning of the stream. I'm gonna have to rework these rules of the dungeon, by the way. I haven't done that yet, but I've yet to do it. I guess I can do team pack searching, but all of these are horrible. The one that I actually might have a chance would be Mirror Clock Orange Road. Even if it is Pequod Town in a row, we could probably survive here, maybe. I guess we're gonna give it a try. We are gonna give it a try. Otherwise, this will end in a sour note because these are all horrible. I don't want to fight you. Tell the truth. We are both bounty hunters. I'll tell you the truth. Actually, he will tell you the truth. And this guy, cut the ring, cut the ring. You want to cut the ring? Who wants to fail at cutting the ring? Very good. Take the employee card. All right. Let's see. What can we do here? We can take little to be naughty to reduce the damage we take. Headless would apply sinking to everyone. Meet in the riser. We have a true self revives, right? I can sell the card because we don't have Wrath Resonance. We can sell this as well because we're not getting any more money. We're at the end of the dungeon. This we can't use, so sell it. We do have a self-revive. That is going to be nice. Sell this one too. Sell this one. Trial plan is garbage. Sell it. Let's see. The rest of the hymn will give us haste, very important. And damage ups. Nice. Calpo is only for the 4th deployed. This one's only for the 3rd. This is free sinking on everyone, which is kind of pointless for these enemies. They don't take sanity damage. Cigarette holder, that's true power, extra power by having poise. Very nice. Another refresh, please. My opposing strive would have been useful several floors ago. Great Coat gives us healing on AoE, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Healing on the AoE is kind of nice. We already have Coffee and Crane, so we really don't need the Zippo Lighter. So we will take the Great Coat so that we can do some healing on our AoEs. Ooh, this is gonna be a rough battle. I can tell you this much. We have a self-revive from our passive ego. We have a self-revive from a gift, and we have Era to use. Let's give it our best shot. Let's do what we can. Alternatively, I could overclock this and eat them. Is it a positive coin? No, it's a negative one, but it's kind of a weak negative one. Let's go Dimension Shredder first to guarantee our revival, and then we can overclock
새로운 세상으로 넘어가려면 자, 여기구나.
That's a good stagger. Now we get hit. Blunt. I'm good. Yes, lower my sanity. See what happens, buddy. Actually, we don't need to. We don't need to. Don't want to get hit early on, so let's just flashable counter them. We need to gain up our slots here, so we need to drag on the battle as much as possible so that the turns go by and we can get our slots so we can actually clash. The enemy is still going to have more slots than us. They are more numerous, so let's be careful here. I feel like eating them now. What's the passive again for this? Hold on. Ego. Big boy passive. If the target has defeated after these units attack or counter skills, gains 2 haste. The allies, including this unit, can extend apply 1 damage up. The damage type affinity of this Q used to activate the effect once. Inflict 1 power down to all enemies. When this unit dies, apply 1 gluttony and pierce damage to all allies. Next turn, inflict 1 attack power down to all enemies. The corrosion of it. Gain Flower Bearing Wedge. Gain all coins in left base skill and dashboard and unbreakable coins. Defense, restart. 3-foot stack, gain 1 tarnished blood. 1 point counter. Erase the effect stacked by any other means. Expires from death. The unit takes damage that brings their AP to the zero, instead of letting the unit drop to 1-0, becomes staggered or defeated. Tears tarnished blood, he hits skill. When the unit takes damage that brings their HP down to 1 at turn end, use Tears to turn blood and stays up. Right? When we get hit, we gain tarnished blood. Let's eat them. Let's see how it goes. If we die from this, we get a revive, we get a try. We see how it goes, you know? We see how it goes. Eat them, Honglu. I'm so hungry. Bring that dragon over. Bring that dragon over from the railway and have it eat these guys. Eat them, my dragon. The whale, the white whale, suddenly inflating full of dragon as we summon a gigantic dragon inside of it. And it explodes. We should have just done that. We didn't have to bother with Ahab. Blast! Very good. We got a little funny pin on us. It should be good. Alright, we have the hair. He has big hair on that mode, yeah. Big hair boy, big hairy boy. That's 2 attacks plus 1 other clashing. We can rock and roll. Round him up by the rope, fool. Surrender to the... By the way, all of this is possible because this ID can fuel the 2 Eagles, Lasso and Dimension Shredder, so we don't have a problem with dying once. But this is going pretty well. I expect it to be a lot worse. We're stalling a little bit on this fight, just rigging out our slots. Also, hello, Donas Canelli. How are you doing? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attacks, and we have 5. Again, not the best things, but we do what we can. We do what we can. Get 2 of these. Not that one. Shield up. Yeah, protect the town. Exploding blood as you protect the town. Hell yeah. It's a stagger. You don't have to worry. You just whip it. Protect the town. Protect the town. Protect the town. Alright, that's another 8 attacks, and we have 5 slots. Can we clash against all of them? There is 2 attacks that we can clash, and 1 unopposed. We use the counter, and we eat the final one. Nice kill. Man, that damn power-up is no joke. We're dealing so much damage. Plus a critical. If you manage to get clear mirror calm water, his idea would be a beast. Morbidly a beast. Morbidly a beast.
슬슬 돌아가기 싫다면
Ah, there we go. We're starting to gain. We're taking 20% damage. Cannot be staggered by the effect. This is gonna be bad. We're gonna have to recover our health real quick. And this is gonna keep stacking, doesn't it? Max stack of 50. We're gonna lose 50% of our health per turn. Oh boy. Oh boy, fun times. Fun times.
전부 잡아드리죠. 목을 내놓으시죠.
What's up with the Chinookans there? I don't know, man. How good's the new Hongulegi? You tell me. For the mirror dungeon, he is doing God's work right now. Again, we are rolling this with rules of the dungeon my rules of the dungeon. So we got lucky with gifts, but he is doing insane damage. He has 100% damage up because of gift. He is really good. Where did my health go? Give back my health! Give back my health, brother! I am dying here! Give back my health!
전부 잡아드리죠. 슬슬 보라를 받으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠.
My health is fucking gone!
돌아가기 싫다면 슬슬 목을 내놓으시죠.
Oh my health! Oh my health is... I'm taking so much damage right now! I am taking my entire life bar as damage! I am going to die after this turn! How many of you there are? Oh fuck, we screwed up! We screwed up. Can we save ourselves with Era? Because we are going to die! We are going to die this turn! Oh no! Can we save ourselves with Era here? We're not home Lord Lu, so I don't know if we can save ourselves here. I'm surely gonna try, but oh no, I might have done a little whoopty-doopty here. I might have done a little mistake. A little crucial mistake. It will cost me this fight.
돌아가기 싫다면 목을 내놓으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠. 슬슬 목을 내놓으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠.
Survived. I'm tanking that. I am tanking that somehow. I don't know for how long, but we are tanking that. We have 8 guys to go and there's only 5 of you here. If I don't recover my entire health bar this turn, I will probably die. Let's see.
전부 잡아드리죠.
Fucking zombie fighter. Come on, Honglu, you need more health than that, brother.
돌아가기 싫다면 목을 내놓으시죠. 돌아가기 싫다면
They have to climb me back up. Don't run away from me! He's running away! Get him! He's trying to run away! Don't you run away from me! I need your help! I need to stagger you to heal!
돌아가기 싫다면
I'm dying! Help me! I am actually dying! Holy shit, Honglu! Fucking the warrior! All right, last turn. Last turn before he fucking detonates.
순순히 보라를 받으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠.
Blue is going to detonate. This has to kill. I have to kill. I have to kill. You don't understand. If I don't kill, I'll die.
내놓으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠. 목을 내놓으시죠. 순순히 돌아가기 싫다면
The music has stopped. This is the level of tension we're working at here. He survived. He fucking lived. That was really fucking good. Holy fucking shit. 1 HP.
우리들은 전부 잡아들였고 개중에는 낙인이 찍혀
Oh
있는.
my god. He was living out of lifesteal alone. Jesus Christ, Honglu. What the fuck, man? Why are you so overpowered, buddy? Why are you so strong? Wow, all right, that's it for the dungeon. Under 2 hours. No jokes, no funny now, no giggles. This is a very good idea. This is a amazing idea. It doesn't have a cool, like a supremely cool gimmick that you have to do something. He works very similar to sync association, where you mark a target and you focus on that target. But unlike the sync association, well, at least Merso, the other sync association the same. So the gimmick here, you just mark a target and you focus on that target to gain more damage. You do more damage to the target's trust marked. It just basically mark a target, hit the target, you're good to go. Because of his Sin's affinities, he can fuel 2 Eagles, the Lasso, and Dimension Shredder all by himself. Dimension Shredder specifically gives him insane survivability because of this, and since he applies 2 to 3 negative effects to the target, he can always get a lot of charge from enemies that have negative status effects. Lasso gives you some... it gives you a little passive that if you kill someone with bleed, and he has bleed, he's going to inflict lasso on everyone, making everyone gain more rupture, and based on his speed, and because he is a fast unit, you can apply a lot of rupture potency by being fast, and you gain haste as well. It's very nice. What's my favorite team in Dungeons Canelli? It's the Kurokumo. Has always been the Kurokumo. Until they release something cooler, but for now it's the Kurokumo. My favorite of all time. So this is a insanely good idea. We got really lucky on the dungeon. We got some really good healing gifts. We got some really powerful gifts. Because again of his excellent Sin affinity, he can power 4 gifts in particular that gave him 100% damage up, which is Bloody Gadget, it is Wrist Guards, and Devil's Share. And if you get a PS system with it, that is basically 100% damage up for Honglu. This is fucking phenomenal. Holy shit, that was good. That was a lot of fun. That ending there, that was some anime bullshit where we are being consumed by our own power and we were surviving out of kills alone. It's been a while since I had a troop like that in Limbus, I will tell you what. In any case, we finished this dungeon in record time, so you know what happens now, right? You know what happens now. It is time for book. Time for book. Which in other words means that if you're here for gameplay, unfortunately, it's time to go. We're just gonna be reading now. Before you go, of course, I would like to ask you if you would please, very pretty please, leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, all that good shit. I will just drink some water. I'll be right back with Crime and Punishment. So see you in just a moment. Be right back. Alrighty. I am back. Let me turn on my webcam again, and here we are. Alright, since we finished the dungeon today in record time, we get to read our book early. Now, do mind you that when we stop doing daily mirror dungeons, we are going to switch the book reading to the weekend. We're going to read more chapters in a single burst instead of one per day. So, let's get back to Crime and Punishment. Yummy. Starting off, let's recapitulate what has happened so far in Crime and Punishment. Raskolnikov, again, is still losing his marbles. He went to visit Sonia, the daughter of Marmeladov, the drunk guy he met and the drunk guy that got run over, and he gave the last of his money to his family, even though he had no money with him. He went to talk to her. Asked her to read the Bible to him. He talked a bunch of nonsense because he's losing his marbles. He mentioned to her that he's going to come back and tell who has killed the old lady. Marfa Petrovna is someone else. Who killed the old lady? Forgot her name. Who killed the sister of the old lady? All him. But he's going to come back and tell her eventually. Problem is that not Marmeladov, what was his name again? We just saw his name here. It was Svidrigailov. Svidrigailov was sleeping in the room next to her and heard fucking everything. And not only he heard everything, he went and dragged the chair to put there, so when Raskolnikov went back to talk to her, he would have a comfortable place to sit and listen to. That's the level of eavesdropping we're talking about here. That's some juicy gossip going on. Let me get my chair. Ooh. Now on to chapter 5. Get the water. I actually got the water. I didn't drink it. That's GeForce reminder, my friends. Go get some water yourself. Let's go. When next morning, at 11 o'clock, punctually Raskolnikov went into the Department of the Investigation of Criminal Causes and sent his name into Porfiry Petrovich. He was surprised at being kept waiting for so long. It was at least 10 minutes before he was summoned. He had expected they would pounce upon him, but he stood in the waiting room. People, who apparently had nothing to do with him, were continually passing to and fro before him. In the next room, which looked like an office, several clerks were sitting, writing, and obviously they had no notion who or what Raskolnikov might be. He looked uneasily and suspiciously about him to see whether there was not some guard, some mysterious watch being kept on him to prevent his escape. But there was nothing of the sort. He saw only the faces of clerks absorbed in petty details, then other people, none of whom seemed to have any business with him. He could go where he liked for all they cared. The conviction grew stronger in him that if that enigmatic man yesterday, that phantom who had sprung out of the earth, had seen everything, they would not have let him stand and wait like that. And would they have waited until he chose to appear at 11? Either the man had not given the information, or he simply knew nothing, had seen nothing. And how could he have seen anything? And so everything that had happened to him the day before was again a phantom exaggerated by his sick and overstrained imagination. This thought had begun to grow strong the day before, in the midst of all his alarm and despair. Thinking it all over now and preparing for a fresh conflict, he was suddenly aware that he was trembling, and he felt a rush of indignation at the thought that he was trembling with fear at facing that hateful Porfiry Petrovich. What he dreaded above all was meeting that man again. He hated him with an intense, unmitigated hatred, and was afraid his hatred might betray him. His indignation was such that he stopped trembling at once. He was prepared to go in with a cold and arrogant bearing, and vowed to himself to keep as silent as possible, to watch and listen, and for once at least to control his overstrained nerves. At that moment, he was summoned to Porfiry Petrovich. He found Porfiry Petrovich alone in his study. His study was a room neither large nor small, furnished with a large writing table that stood before a sofa, which was upholstered in checked material, a bureau, a bookcase in the corner, and several chairs, all government furniture made of polished yellow wood. In the furthest wall there was a closed door, beyond which there were, no doubt, other rooms. On Raskolnikov's entrance, Porfiry Petrovich had immediately closed the door through which he had come in. They remained alone. He met his visitor with an apparently genial and good-tempered air, and it was only after a few minutes that Raskolnikov saw signs of a certain awkwardness in him, as though he had been thrown off guard or caught in the middle of something very secret. "Ah, my friend, here you are, in our domain," began Porfiry, holding out both hands to him. "Come on, sit down, my boy, or perhaps you don't like to be called my friend and my boy. Tut court. Please, don't think it's too informal. Here, on the sofa." Raskolnikov sat down, keeping his eyes fixed on him. "In our domain." The apologies for being so informal. The French phrase tout court. To court? Whatever. Tout court. Whatever. I don't fix French. I don't do baguette. Were all characteristic signs. "He held out both hands to me, but he did not give me one. He drew it back in time." Struck him suspiciously. Both were watching each other, but when their eyes met, quickly as lightning they looked away. "I brought you this paper about the watch. Here it is. Is it all right, or shall I copy it again?" "What, paper? Ah, yes, yes. Oh, don't be so uneasy. It's all right," Porfiry Petrovich said as though in a hurry, and after he had said it, he took the paper and looked at it. "Ah, yes, it's all right. Nothing more is needed," he declared with the same rapidity, and he laid the paper on the table. A minute later, when he was talking of something else, he took it from the table and put it on his bureau. "I believe you said yesterday you would like to question me formally about my... no, sorry, that's Raskolnikov speaking. I believe you said yesterday you would like to question me formally about my acquaintance with the murdered woman?" Raskolnikov was beginning again. "Why did I put in, I believe?" passed through his mind in a flash. "Why am I so uneasy at having put in that I believe?" came in a second flash, and he suddenly felt that his uneasiness at the mere contact with Porfiry, at the first words, at the first looks, had grown in an instant to monstrous proportions, and that this was fearfully dangerous. His nerves were quivering, his emotion was increasing. It's bad, I shall say too much again." "Ah, yes, there's no hurry, muttered Porfiry Petrovich, moving to and fro about the table without any apparent aim, making dashes as it were toward the window, the bureau, and the table. One moment avoiding Raskolnikov's suspicious glance, then again standing still and looking him straight in the face. His fat, round little figure looked very strange, like a ball rolling from one side to the other and rebounding back. "We've plenty of time. Do you smoke? Have you got your own? Here, a cigarette." He went on, offering his visitor a cigarette. "You know, I am receiving you here, but my own quarters are through there, you know, my government quarters. But I am living outside for the time being. I had to have some repairs done there. It's almost finished now. Government quarters, you know, are a wonderful thing. What do you think?" "Yes, a wonderful thing," answered Raskolnikov, looking at him almost ironically. A wonderful thing, repeated Porfiry Petrovich, as though he had just thought of something quite different. "Yes, a wonderful thing." He almost shouted at last, suddenly staring at Raskolnikov and stopping short 2 steps from him. This stupid repetition was too inept for the serious, brooding, and enigmatic glance he turned upon his visitor. But this stirred Raskolnikov's anger more than ever, and he could not resist an ironical and somewhat incautious challenge. "Tell me, please," he asked suddenly, looking almost insolently at him and taking a kind of pleasure in his own insolence. "I believe it's a sort of legal rule, a sort of legal tradition for all investigating lawyers to begin their attack from afar with a trivial or at least an irrelevant subject, so as to encourage, or rather to divert the man they are cross-examining to disarm his caution, and not once to give him an unexpected knockdown blow with some fatal question. Isn't that so? It's a sacred tradition mentioned, I fancy, in all manuals of the art." Yes. Why do you imagine that was why I spoke about the government quarters? Huh? As he said this, Porfiry Petrovich screwed up his eyes and winked. A good-humored, crafty look passed over his face. The wrinkles on his forehead were smoothed out. His eyes contracted, his features broadened, and he suddenly went off into a nervous, prolonged laugh, shaking all over and looking Raskolnikov straight in the face. The latter, forced himself to laugh too, but when Porfiry, seeing that he was laughing, broke into such a guffaw that he had turned almost crimson. Raskolnikov's repulsion overcame all precaution. He left off laughing, scowled, and stared with hatred at Porfiry, keeping his eyes fixed on him while his intentionally prolonged laughter lasted. There was a lack of precaution on both sides. However, for Porfiry Petrovich seemed to be laughing in his visitor's face and to be almost undisturbed by the annoyance which the visitor received it. The latter fact was very significant in Raskolnikov's eyes. He saw that Porfiry Petrovich had not been embarrassed just before either, but that he, Raskolnikov, had perhaps fallen into a trap, that there must be something, some motive here unknown to him, that perhaps everything was ready and in order in another moment would break upon him. He came straight to the point, rose from his seat, and took his cap. Porfiry Petrovich, he began resolutely, though with considerable irritation. Yesterday you expressed a desire that I should come to you for some inquiries. He laid special interest on the word inquiries. I have come, and if you have anything to ask of me, ask it, and if not, allow me to withdraw. I have no time to spare. I have to be at a funeral of that man who was ran over, of whom you know also. He added, feeling angry at once at having made his addition feeling angry at what He added, feeling angry at once at having made this addition and more irritated at his anger. I am sick of it all, do you hear? I have long been. It's partly what made me ill, short. He shouted, feeling that the phrase about his illness was still more out of place. In short, kindly examine me or let me go at once. And if you must examine me, do so properly. I will not allow you to be so otherwise. And so, meanwhile, goodbye, as we have evidently nothing to keep us now. Ah, good heavens, what do you mean? What shall I question you about? Cackled Porfiry Petrovich with a change of tone, instantly cutting his laughter short. Please, don't disturb yourself. He began fidgeting from place to place and fussily making Raskolnikov sit down. There's no hurry. There's no hurry. It's all nonsense. Oh no, I'm very glad you've come to see me at last. I look on you simply as a visitor. And as for my accursed laughter, please excuse it, Rodion Romanovich. Rodion Romanovich, that's your name? It's my nerves. You tickled me so much with your witty observation, I shall assure you, sometimes I shake with laughter like an India rubber ball for half an hour at a time. I'm often afraid of an attack of paralysis. Please, do sit down, please do, or I shall think you're angry. Okay. Raskolnikov did not speak. He listened, watching him, still frowning angrily. He did sit down, but still held his cap. I must tell you one thing about myself, my dear Rodion Romanovich, Porfiry Petrovich continued, moving about the room and again avoiding his visitor's eyes. You see, I am a bachelor, a man of no consequence, and not used to the company. Besides, I have nothing before me. I'm set. I run into seed, and have you noticed, Rodion Romanovich, that in our Petersburg circles, if true clever men meet who are not intimate, but respect each other, like you and me, it takes them half an hour before they can find a subject for conversation. They cannot speak. They sit opposite to each other and feel awkward. Everyone has subject of conversation. Ladies, for instance. People in high society always have their subjects of conversation. It's the rigueur. But people of the middle sort like us, thinking people that is, are always tongue-tied and awkward. What's the reason for it? Whether it's a lack of public interest or whether it's what we are so honest we don't want to deceive one another, I don't know. What do you think? Please, put down your cap. It looks like if you're just going. It makes me uncomfortable. I am so delighted. Raskolnikov put down his cap and continued listening in silence with a serious, frowning face to the vague and empty chatter of Porfiry Petrovich. Does he really want to distract my attention with his silly babble? I can't offer you coffee here, but why not spend 5 minutes with a friend? Porfiry pattered on. And you know, all these official duties. Please don't mind my running up and down. Forgive me, my dear fellow. I am very much afraid of offending you, but exercise is absolutely indispensable for me. I'm always sitting, and I'm so glad to be moving about for 5 minutes. I suffer from my sedentary life, you see. I always intend to join a gymnasium. They say that officials of all ranks, even private counselors, may be seen skipping gaily here, there, but there you have it. Modern science. Yes, yes. But as for my duties here, inquiries and all such formalities, you mentioned inquiries yourself just now. I assure you, these interrogations are sometimes more embarrassed for the interrogator than for the interrogated. You made the observation yourself just now, very aptly and witty. Raskolnikov had made no observation of the kind. People get into a muddle, a real muddle. They keep harping on the same note like a drum. There will be reform, and we shall be called by a different name, at least. And as for our legal tradition, as you wittily called it, I thoroughly agree with you. Every prisoner on trial, even the simplest peasant, knows that they begin by disarming him with irrelevant questions, as you happily put it, and the deal in with a knockdown blow. Your beautiful expressions, my boy. So you really imagine that I meant by government quarters. You are truly ironic. So come, I won't go on. Ah, yeah, by the way, yes. One word leads to another. You spoke of formality just now, a purpose of the inquiry, you know? But what's the use of formality? In many cases, it's nonsense. Sometimes you have a friendly chat and get a good deal more out of it. You can always fall back on formality. May I assure you, and after all, what does it amount to? An examining lawyer cannot be bounded by formality at every step. The work of investigation is, so to speak, a free art in its own way. Porfiry Petrovich paused for breath. He had simply babbled on, uttering empty phrases, letting slip a few enigmatic words, and again reverting to incoherent. He was almost running around the room, moving his fat little legs quicker and quicker, looking at the ground with his right hand behind his back, while his left making gestures that bore extraordinary little relation to his word. Raskolnikov suddenly noticed that as he ran about the room, he seemed twice to stop for a moment near the door, as though he were listening. Is he expecting anything? You are certainly quite right about it, Porfiry began gaily, looking with extraordinary simplicity at Raskolnikov, which startled him and instantly put him on guard. Certainly quite right in laughing so wittily at our legal form. Some of these elaborate psychological methods are extremely ridiculous, and perhaps useless if you follow the forms too closely. Yes, I am talking about the forms again. Well, if I recognize, or more strictly speaking, if I suspect someone, or other to be a criminal, in any case entrusted to me, you're a law student, of course, Rodin Romanovich? Yes, I was. Well then, it is a precedent for you for the future, though don't suppose I should venture you to instruct you after the articles you publish about crime. No, I simply make bold to state it by way of fact. If I took this man or that for a criminal, why, I ask, should I worry of him prematurely, even if I had evidence against him? In one case, I may be bound, for instance, to arrest a man at once, but another may be quite a different position, you know? So why shouldn't I let him talk about the town a bit? But I see you don't quite understand, so I'll give you a clearer example. If I put him in prison too soon, I may very likely give him, so to speak, moral support. You're laughing? Raskolnikov had no intention of laughing. He was sitting with compressed lips, feverish eyes fixed on Porfiry Petrovich's. Well, yes, that is the case with some types especially, for men are so different. You say evidence. Well, there may be evidence. Is this Raskolnikov speaking? Hold on. Yeah, that's Porfiry. Yes, that is the case, with some types especially, for men are so different. You say evidence. Well, there may be evidence, but evidence, you know, can generally be taken two ways. I am an examining lawyer and a weak man. I confess it. I should like to make a proof, so to say, mathematically clear. I should like to make a chain of evidence, such as twice 2 is 4. It ought to be a direct, irrefutable proof. And if I shut him up too soon, even though I might be convinced he was the man, I should very likely be depriving myself of the means of getting further evidence against him. And how? By giving him, so to speak, a definite position. I shall put him out of suspense and set his mind at rest, so that he will retreat into his shell. They say that at Sevastopol, soon after Alma, the clever people were in a terrible fright that the enemy would attack openly and take Sevastopol at once. But when they saw that the enemy preferred a regular siege, they were delighted. I am told and reassured for the thing would drag on for 2 months at least. You're laughing. You don't believe me again? Of course, you're right too. You're right. These are special cases, I admit. But you must observe that this, my dear Rodion Romanovich, the general case, the case for which all legal forms and rules are intended, for which they are calculated and laid down in books, does not exist at all. For the reason that every case, every crime, for instance, as soon as it actually occurs, at once becomes a thoroughly special case, and sometimes a case unlike any that has gone before. Very comic cases of that sort sometimes occur. If I leave one man completely alone, if I don't touch him and don't worry him, but let him know or at least suspect every moment that I know all about it and I'm watching him day and night, and if he is in continual suspicion and terror, he'll be bound to lose his head. He'll come forward of his own accord, or maybe do something which will make it as plain as twice 2 is 4. It is delightful. It may be so with a simple peasant, but with one of our sort, an intelligent man cultivated on a certain side, it's a dead certainty. For, my dear fellow, it is very important matter to know on what side a man is cultivated. And then there are nerves. There are nerves. You have overlooked them. Why? They are all sick, nervous, and irritable. And then how angry they all are. That, I assure you, is a regular gold mine for us. And it's no anxiety to me, him running about the town free. Let him walk about for a bit. I know well enough that I've caught him and that he won't escape me. Where could he escape to? Abroad, perhaps? A Pole will escape abroad, but not here, especially as I am watching and have taken measures. Will he escape into the depths of the country? But you know, peasants live there, real rude Russian peasants. A modern, cultivated man would prefer prison to living with such strangers as our peasant. But that's all nonsense. And on the surface, it's not merely that he has nowhere to run to, he's psychologically unable to escape me. What an expression. Through a law of nature, he can't escape me if he had anywhere to go. Have you seen a butterfly round a candle? That's how he will keep circling and circling around me. Freedom will lose its attractions. He'll begin to brood. He'll weave a tangle round himself. He'll worry himself to death. What's more, he will provide me with a mathematical proof if I only give him a long enough interval. And he'll keep circling around me, getting nearer and nearer, and then, plop, he'll fly straight into my mouth, and I'll swallow him. That will be very amusing. You don't believe me? Raskolnikov made no reply. He sat pale, motionless, still gazing with the same intensity into Porfiry's face. It's a lesson, he thought, turning cold. This is beyond the cat playing with a mouse like yesterday. He can't be showing off his power with no motive, prompting me. He's far too clever for that. He must have another He must have another object. What is it? It's all nonsense, my friend. You're pretending to scare me. You have no proofs, and the man I saw had no real existence. You simply want to make me lose my head, to work me beforehand and crush me, but you're wrong. You won't do it. Why give me such a hint? Is he reckoning on my shattered nerves? No, friend, you are wrong, and you won't do it even though you have some trap for me. Let us see what you have in store for me. And he braced himself to face a terrible and unknown ordeal. At times, he longed to fall on Porfiry and strangle him. This anger was what he had dreaded from the beginning. He felt that his parched lips were fleckled with foam. His heart was throbbing, but he was still determined not to speak till the right moment. He realized that this was the best policy in his position, because instead of saying too much, he would be irritating his enemy by his silence and provoking him into speaking too freely. Anyhow, it was what he hoped for. Let's see here. No, I see you don't believe me. You think I'm playing a harmless joke on you. Porfiry began again, getting more and more lively, chuckling at every instant and again pacing around the room. And to be sure, you are right. God has given me a figure that can awaken none but comic ideas in other people. A buffoon. But let me tell you, and I repeat it, excuse an old man, my dear Rodion Romanovich. You're still a young man, in your first youth, so to speak, and so you put intellect above everything, like all young people. Playful wit and abstract arguments fascinate you, and that's for all the world alike. The old Austrian Hofkriegsrat. As far as I am any judge of military matter, that is, on paper, they beat Napoleon and take him prisoner. And there is their study. They worked it all out in the cleverest fashion. But then, General Max surrendered with all his army. I see, Rodion Romanovich, you're laughing at a civilian like me, taking examples out of military history. But I can't help it. It's my weakness. I am fond of military science, and I've ever so fond of reading all the military histories. I've certainly missed my proper career. I should have been in the army. I swear I should have been. I would have been a Napoleon, but I might have been a major. Well, I'll tell you the whole truth, my friend, about this special case. I mean, actual fact and the man's temperament are weighty matters, and it's astonishing how they sometimes deceive the sharpest calculation. I, listen to an old man, am speaking seriously, Rodion Romanovich. As he said this, Porfiry Petrovich, who was scarcely 35, actually seemed to have grown old. Even his voice changed and seemed to shrink together. Moreover, I am a candid man. Am I a candid man or not? What do you say? I think I must be. I tell you these things for nothing and don't even expect a reward for it. Well, to proceed, cleverness, in my opinion, is a splendid thing. It is, so to say, an adornment of nature and a consolation of life, and what tricks it can play. So that sometimes it's hard for a poor examining lawyer to know where he is, especially when he's liable to be carried away by his own imagination too, for you know he is a man after all. But a poor fellow carried away by their own wit don't think of that when they overstep all obstacles, as you wittily and cleverly expressed it yesterday. He will lie, that is, the man who is a special case, the incognito, and he will lie, well, in the cleverest fashion. You might think he would triumph and enjoy the fruits of his cleverness, but at the most interesting, the most flagrant moment, he will faint. Of course, there may be illness and a stuffy room as well, but anyway, he's giving us the idea. He lied incomparably, but he didn't reckon on his temperament. That's what betrays him. Another time, he will be carried away by his playful wit into making fun of the man who suspects him. He will turn pale, as it were on purpose to mislead, but his paleness will be too natural, too much like the real thing. Again, he has given us an idea. Though his questioner may be deceived at first, he will think differently next day if he is not a fool. And of course, it is like that at every step. He must put himself forward where he is not wanted, speaks continually when he ought to keep his silent, bring in all sorts of allegorical allusions, comes and asks, why didn't you take me long ago? And that can happen, you know, with the cleverest man, the psychologist, the literary man. The temperament reflects everything like a mirror. Gaze into it and admire what you see. But why are you so pale, Rodion Romanovich? Is the room stuffy? Shall I open the window? Oh, don't trouble yourself, please, cried Raskolnikov, and he suddenly broke into laugh. Please don't trouble yourself. Porfiry stood facing him, paused for a moment, and suddenly he too laughed. Raskolnikov got up from the sofa, abruptly checking his hysterical laughter. Porfiry Petrovich, he began, speaking loudly and distinctly, though his legs trembled and he could scarcely stand. I see clearly at last that you actually suspect me of murdering that old woman and her sister Lizaveta. Let me tell you for my part that I am sick of this. If you find that you have a right to prosecute me legally, to arrest me, then prosecute me, arrest me. But I will not let myself be jeered at to my face and worried. His lips trembled, his eyes glowed fury, and he could not restrain his voice. I won't allow it, he shouted, bringing his fist down on the table. Do you hear that, Porfiry Petrovich? I won't allow it. Oh, good heavens, what does it mean? Cried Porfiry Petrovich, apparently quite frightened. Rodion Romanovich, my dear fellow, what is the matter with you? I won't allow it, Raskolnikov shouted again. Hush, my dear man. Let her come in. Just think, what could we say to that? Porfiry Petrovich whispered in horror, bringing his face close to Raskolnikov's. I won't allow it. I won't allow it, Raskolnikov repeated mechanically, but he too spoke in a sudden whisper. Porfiry turned quite quickly and ran to the open window. Some fresh air, and you must have some water, my dear friend. You're ill. He was running to the door to call for some when he found a decanter of water in the corner. Come, drink a little, he whispered, rushing up to him with the decanter. It will be sure to do you good. Porfiry Petrovich's alarm and sympathy were so natural that Raskolnikov was silent and began looking at him with wild curiosity. He did not take the water, however. Rodion Romanovich, my dear friend, you drive yourself out of your mind, I assure you. My goodness! Have some water, do drink a little. He forced him to take the glass. Raskolnikov raised it mechanically to his lips, but set it on the table again with disgust. Yes, you had a little attack. You bring back your illness again, my dear fellow. Porfiry Petrovich cackled with a friendly sympathy, though he still looked rather disconcerted. Goodness, you must take more care of yourself. Dmitri Prokofitch came to see me yesterday, I know. It was a nasty, ironic temper. But what they made of it, goodness. He came yesterday after you'd been. We dined, and he talked away, and I could only throw up my hands in despair. Did he come from you? But do sit down, for mercy's sake, sit down. No, not from me. But I knew he went to you, and why he went. Raskolnikov answered sharply. You knew? I knew. What of it? Because, Rodion Romanovich, I know more than that about you. I know about everything. I know how you went to take an apartment at night when it was dark, and how you rang the bell and asked about the blood, and the workman and the porter did not know what to make of it. Yes, I understand your state of mind at that time, but you drive yourself mad like that, I swear it. You lose your head. You're full of generous indignation at the wrongs you've received, first from Destiny and then from the police officers. And so you rush from one thing to another to force them to speak out and make an end of it all, because you are sick of all this suspicion and foolishness. That's so, isn't it? I have guessed how you feel, haven't I? Only in that way you lose your head, and Razumikhin's too. He's too good a man for such a position. You must know that. You're ill, and he is good, and your illness is infectious for him. I'll tell you about it when you are more yourself. But do sit down, for goodness sake. Please rest. You look shocking. Do sit down. Raskolnikov sat down. He no longer shivered. He was hot all over. In amazement, he listened with a strained attention to Porfiry Petrovich, who still seemed frightened as he looked after him with friendly solicitude. But he did not believe a word he said, though he felt a strange inclination to believe. Porfiry's unexpected words about the apartment had utterly overwhelmed him. How can it be? How can it be? He knows about the apartment, then, he thought suddenly, and he tells me so himself. Yes, in our legal practice there was a case which was almost exactly identical, a case of morbid psychology, Porfiry went on quickly. A man confessed to murder, and how he kept it up. It was a regular hallucination. He brought forward facts he imposed upon everyone, and why? He had been partly, but only partly, unintentionally the cause of a murder, and when he knew that he had given the murderers the opportunity, it sank into dejection. It got into his mind, and it turned his brain. He began imagining things, and he persuaded himself that he was the murderer. But at least the appeal court went into it, and the poor man was acquitted and given proper care. Thanks to the appeal court. Why, my dear friend, you may drive yourself into delirium if you have the impulse to work upon your nerves, to go ringing bells at night and asking about blood. I've studied all this morbid psychology in my practice. A man is sometimes tempted to jump out of a window or from a belfry. Just the same with bell ringing. It's all illness, Rodion Romanovich. You have begun to neglect your illness. You should consult an experienced doctor. What's the good of that fat friend of yours? You're lightheaded. You were delirious when you did all of this. For a moment, Raskolnikov felt everything turning. Is it possible, flashed through his mind, that he's still lying? It can't be. He rejected the idea, feeling to what a degree of fury it might drive him, feeling that fury might drive him mad. I was not delirious, I knew what I was doing, he cried, straining faculty to penetrate Porfiry's game. I was quite myself, do you hear? Yes, I hear, I understand. You say yesterday you were not delirious, you were particularly emphatic about it. I understand all you can tell me. Listen, Rodion Romanovich, my dear fellow, if you're actually a criminal, or were somehow mixed up in this damnable business, would you insist that you are not delirious but in full possession of your faculties? And so emphatically and so persistently, would it be possible? Absolutely impossible, the way I see it. If you had anything on your conscience, he would certainly insist that you were delirious. That's so, isn't it? There was a note of slyness in this inquiry. Raskolnikov drew back on the sofa, and Porfiry bent over him and stared in silent perplexity at him. Another thing about Razumikin, you certainly ought to have said that he came of his own accord. You have concealed your part in it, but you don't conceal it. You lay stress on the fact that he came at your instigation. Raskolnikov had not done so. A chill went down his back. You keep telling lies, he said slowly and weakly, twisting his lips into a sickly smile. You are trying again to show that you know all my game, that you know all I shall say beforehand. He said, conscious himself that he was not weighing his words as he should. You want to frighten me, or you are just laughing at me. He still stared at him as he said this, and again there was a light of intense hatred in his eyes. You keep lying, he said. You know perfectly well that the best policy for the criminal is to tell the truth as nearly as possible, to conceal as little as possible. I don't believe you. Ah, what a cunning person you are, Porfiry tittered. You can't be caught out. You have a real monomania. So you don't believe me? But still, you do believe me. You believe a quarter. I'll soon make you believe the whole, because I have a sincere liking of you and genuinely wish you good. Raskolnikov's lips trembled. Yes, I do, went on Porfiry, touching Raskolnikov's arm genially. You must take care of your illness. Besides, your mother and sister are here now. You must think of that. You must soothe and comfort them. And you do nothing but frighten them. What has that to do to you? How do you know anything about it? What concern is it of yours? You're keeping watch on me and you want to let me know it? Oh goodness, why, I learned it all from yourself. You don't notice that in your excitement you tell me and others everything. From Razumikin too. I learned a number of interesting details yesterday. No, you've interrupted me, but I must tell you that for all your cleverness, all your suspiciousness makes you lose the common sense view of things. To return to bell ringing, for instance, I am, examining lawyer, have betrayed a precious thing like that, a real fact, for it is a fact worth having, and you see nothing in it. Why? If I had the slightest suspicion of you, should I have acted like that? No. I should first have disarmed your suspicions and let you see that I knew of the fact, to have diverted your attention and suddenly have dealt you a knockdown blow. Your expression. Say, and what were you doing, sir, pray, at 10 or nearly 11 at the murdered woman's apartment? Why did you ring the bell? Why did you ask about blood? And why did you invite the porters to go with you to the police station to the lieutenant? That's how I ought to have acted if I had a grain of suspicion about you. I ought to have taken your evidence in due form, searched your apartment, and perhaps have arrested you. So, I have no suspicion about you, since I have not done any of that. But you can't look at it normally and you see nothing. I say again. Raskolnikov started so that Porfiry Petrovich could not fail to perceive it. You're lying all the time, he cried. I don't know what you're aiming at, but you are lying. You did not speak like that just now, and I cannot be mistaken. I am lying, Porfiry repeated, apparently incensed, but preserving a good-humored and ironical face, as though he were not in the least concerned at Raskolnikov's opinion of him. I am lying, but how did I treat you just now? I, the examining lawyer, prompting you and giving you every means for your defense? Illness, I said delirium, injury, melancholy, and the police officers and all the rest of it? Though, in fact, all those psychological means of defense are not very reliable and cut both ways. Illness, delirium, I don't remember. That's all right, but why, my friend, in your illness and in your delirium were you haunted by just those delusions and not by any others? There may have been others, huh? Raskolnikov looked hotly and contemptuously at him. Briefly, he said loudly and imperiously, rising to his feet, and in doing so pushing Porfiry back a little. Briefly, I want to know, do you acknowledge me perfectly free from suspicion or not? Tell me, Porfiry Petrovich. Hurry up and tell me once and for all. What trouble I am having with you? Cried Porfiry with a perfectly good-humored, sly, and composed face. And why do you want to know? Why do you want to know so much, since they haven't begun to worry you? You are like a child asking for matches. And why are you so uneasy? Why do you force yourself upon us, huh? I repeat, Raskolnikov cried furiously, that I can't put up with it. With what? Uncertainty? Interrupted Porfiry. Don't jeer at me. I won't have it. I tell you I won't have it. I can't and I won't. Do you hear? Do you hear me? He shouted, bringing his fists down on the table again. Hush, hush, they over here. I warn you seriously, take care of yourself. I am not joking, Porphyry whispered, but this time there was not the look of an old womanish good nature and alarm in his face. Now he was peremptory, stern, frowning, and for once laying aside all mystification. But this was only for an instant. Raskolnikov, bewildered, then fell into actual frenzy. But strange to say, he again obeyed the command to speak quietly, though he was at the height of his fury. Not allow myself to be tortured, he whispered, instantly recognizing with hatred that he could not help obeying the command, and driven to even greater fury by the thought. Arrest me, search me, but please act in due form and don't play with me. Don't you dare. Don't worry about the form, Porphyry interrupted with the same sly smile, as it were gloating with enjoyment over Raskolnikov. I invited you to see me quite in a friendly way. I don't want your friendship and I spit on it, do you hear? Look, I'm taking my cap and I'm going. What will you say now if you intend to arrest me? He took up his cap and went to the door. Won't you see my little surprise? Chuckled Porphyry, again taking him by the arm and stopping him at the door. He seemed to become more playful and good-humored, which maddened Raskolnikov. What surprise? He asked, standing still and looking at Porphyry in alarm. My little surprise is sitting there behind the door. He pointed to the locked door. I locked him in so that he would not escape. What is it? Where? What? Raskolnikov walked to the door and would have opened it, but it was locked. It's locked. Here's the key. And he brought the key out of his pocket. You're lying, roared Raskolnikov without restraint. You are lying, you damned Punchinello! And he rushed at Porphyry, who retreated to the other door, not at all alarmed. I understand it all. You are lying and mocking, so I will betray myself to you. Why, you could not betray yourself any further, my dear Rodin Romanovich. You are in a passion. Don't shout. I shall call the clerks. You're lying. Call the clerks. You knew I was ill and tried to work me into a frenzy to make me betray myself. That was your aim. Produce your facts. I understand it all. You have no evidence. You have only wretched, trashy suspicions like Sametov's. You knew my character. You wanted to drive me to fury and then to knock me down with priests and deputies. Are you waiting for them, huh? What are you waiting for? Where are they? Produce them. Why deputies, my good man? What things people imagine, and to do so would not be acting in form, as you say. You don't know the business, my dear fellow, and there's no escaping form, as you see, Porphyry muttered, listening at the door through which a noise could be heard. Ah, they're coming. Ah, they're coming, cried Raskolnikov. You sent for them. You expected them. Well, produce them all, your deputies, your witnesses, what you like. I am ready. But at this moment, a strange incident occurred. Something so unexpected that neither Raskolnikov nor Porphyry Petrovich could have imagined that their interview would come to such a conclusion. That is it for today's chapter. We reached page 301, just 167 more to go. Oh, man. I love this book. I love how Porphyry is just playing the Columbo with him, kind of. In any case, I would like to thank you all for being present here today for our Mirror Dungeon and for our book reading and ID study. And as always, much love to all of you. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the stream, please recommend it to your friends. And if you didn't, well, please recommend it to your enemies. If you want to give some support here for the channel, please leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, a follow on Twitch or on Twitter. But with all that said, thank you all so much. Sweet kisses and goodbye. Bye-bye.